I've got a stack of Nintendo Switch games I think you must have in your collection. However, we're not talking about old releases here. We're not talking about games from 2017 or 2018. We're talking about recent releases. So if you're expecting a Zelda Breath of the Wild or Super Mario Odyssey to be on this list, it's not going to be. So let's go ahead and talk about what is on the list. First off, we've got Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. This is sort of a port of a Wii U game, but they added Bowser's Fury, which definitely adds to this game. So think of it as like a Wii U game plus DLC, and that's what this is. It's enough to change it to make it well worth picking up. However, if you played it beforehand, you may want to look into it. You may enjoy it, you may not. But I really like what Nintendo did here, where they didn't just give you the same exact game. They added something new, and it really brought fresh air into this game, and I definitely think it is well worth picking up. Then we've got a game that I picked up and absolutely enjoyed, but everyone seemed to feel like it wasn't as good as its predecessor in Wii Sports, and that is a Super Nintendo Sports. This is a ton of fun. Obviously, it's not Wii Sports, but it is a great way to play Wii Sports if you never had it or you didn't have a Wii. You have bowling, volleyball, there's champara, badminton, there's a golf now, there's soccer. It's a ton of fun, and I definitely think you should pick it up. This is a great game for multiplayer. Yes, you can play this with single player or multiplayer online, but I think this game is perfect if you've got a few people at your house. You pull this out, play it with them, and definitely enjoy it. I think it's well worth it for that. Then we've got Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope. And a lot of people would probably pass on this game, but I absolutely love the first one, so I had to pick this up when it released, and it is just as fun, but they did upgrade it a little bit. I think it's a little bit better, and it's definitely well worth it if you like the first one. They gave you kind of some game mechanics that you could do from the first one, but also allow you to kind of move around the map a little bit better, and you can really get into this, and it's a ton of fun. I definitely think you should pick it up if you liked the first one. If you like puzzle games, this is kind of like that. It's kind of like XCOM from what I've heard, but it's definitely well worth it, and I really enjoyed it. Then we've got Splatoon 3, which was kind of a game that could have been a DLC, but is definitely well worth owning. If you've ever played the first or the second one, you know what this is all about, and it is a ton of fun. This is basically Nintendo's take on a first-person or a third-person shooter, but making it kid-friendly, that way everyone can play. You basically are trying to either paint the map or paint each other and kind of overtake them. It's a ton of fun and definitely a great multiplayer if you are into online multiplayers. It's a ton of fun, and I know I've said that already, but I really enjoyed this game. I think they did kind of the same thing with Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope, where they added enough to this game which makes it feels like a separate game, but they took what they had in Splatoon 1 and 2 and made it better and made it worth picking up. So if you're looking to get this game, I think you should get it now because the price is really good for it right now. Then we've got new Pokemon Snap, which is obviously a kind of a remake, not the exact same thing, but of Pokemon Snap for the Nintendo 64, which if you've never played it before, is an on-rails shooter and is a ton of fun. I absolutely love this game. I love being able to take pictures of Pokemon and kind of wait for the perfect shot to take that picture. That way you'll get more points and kind of interact with how they are in their own environment. And everything about this is just a ton of fun. I really enjoyed it. And trying to get the best picture is just one of those things that you can keep playing the map over and over again until you get that perfect picture, and you will be thrilled when you do. These last three games are probably my favorite in most recent years, so we're going to have to start off with Kirby and the Forgotten Land. This is Nintendo's new take on Kirby, kind of throwing Kirby out into an open world, which is absolutely amazing. I love Kirby before this, but adding him into a semi-open world is definitely awesome. The platforming in this game is fun. Trying to figure out what you need to do and maybe go over here and get that or go over there, and kind of being able to take things on as Kirby. Even you could drive a car, become a cone. You even become this weird circle and blow air. It's kind of weird and wacky and probably a little hard to explain, but it's definitely a ton of fun. And I believe you can play this co-op, which is even crazier. It's definitely well worth your money, and I think you should pick it up. Which leads me to yet another open world game, and that's Pokemon Legends Arceus or Arceus. I don't know how to pronounce it. Please forgive me there. This is an amazing game and just what I've always wanted. Now, we did kind of get something like this with Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu. However, this one is less of a remake and more of a new thing. And my favorite part is you can go out into the open world and see what you want. If there's a Pokemon over there that you don't want to battle, you just avoid it and go another way, which is so amazing. This has a great story. I loved the artwork. I love everything about this game. The soundtrack is perfect. And I think this is like probably my favorite, like the penultimate Pokemon game. Now, obviously there's some better ones like Pokemon Red and Blue, but like this is a ton of fun. You can put it on your Switch and take it wherever you want. It's just one of those Pokemon games that you have to get, and it actually looks better than a lot of the previous Pokemon games as well, and even some of the newer ones, Scarlet and Violet, which have had problems. This one doesn't seem to have that, so it's definitely the one I would go with if I am getting a Pokemon game for the Switch. And last but definitely not least, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I know I said I'm not talking about Breath of the Wild, but this is basically Breath of the Wild 2. They took everything that was amazing from the first one and kind of combined it with Skyward Sword and threw you out into the open, and you just get to explore. It's a ton of fun. You still have the main kind of dungeons that you had in the other game, but there's so much more to explore because you have the sky as well. And everything is just amazing. They took some of the things that you had in the first game and put them in the second, but they also added things like the ability to fuse, which is absolutely crazy. If you want to play the game right, you can, but if you want to just build long bridges and go out and defeat all these puzzles, you can also do that as well. People were doing terrible things to Korax, which is understandable after you've seen them for like the 20th time, and they're like, I can't get to my friend, and you're like, well, I could just blow you that way with a bomb or a rocket, and you'll make your way there. Otherwise, this is a game full of creativity. It's a ton of fun. I'm playing through it right now where I'm not really using the fuse too much. I think I'm going to hold off and use that my second go round. That way I can really explore it. But for now, this is a game that you must have. If you played Breath of the Wild, you'll definitely enjoy it. If you didn't play Breath of the Wild, you'll still enjoy it. I think it is one of those games that you can pick up and play, not playing any of the other Zelda games, and you would still enjoy it. So I think you have to grab this one. Oh, and I forgot that this one is $70 brand new, but I've enjoyed it enough to not complain about that. I knew someone was going to comment down below, but that game's $70. Well, it's only $10 more, and the enjoyment I get out of it is definitely worth $10. So those are the 8 Switch games that I grabbed from my collection that I definitely think you should have. Most of these have released in probably the last 2 years, which makes them more recent ones, which means they're probably still up there in price. But if you are looking for new Switch games and you want to find a game that's absolutely amazing, these are a ton of first-party games that I think you'll definitely enjoy. But if I missed any, comment down below. I know someone is going to say, you didn't talk about Metroid Dread, and I'm going to say, I haven't played it yet, so forgive me, but there's a ton of awesome Switch games, so I'm going to get out of here and play some more Tears of the Kingdom. So check that video out if you haven't, but I think this is a solid list of games that you definitely should have. I'm getting out of here, so check that video out if you haven't.